All right, we're heading to the town of Jefferson in Georgia, and we're playing Traditions of Braselton, or Braselton, however you like to say that. A beautiful tree-lined track in this up-and-coming, newer community. So if you're looking for a cool home on the golf course, I'll leave a link in the description below. Please make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you don't miss anything. Looking forward to having a great time on this Bermuda grass course that seems to have been giving me fits so far here in Georgia, but I'm feeling good today. So I think we're in for a treat. First hole, a 385-yard par 4, super skinny hole. So I don't want to do anything foolish here on the first tee, so I am just taking a 4-iron, trying to get off to a good start. And I hit a good one. No, that shadow swing in my back behind me did not affect me at all. Anyways, I have 170 yards for my second shot. Skinny, not much to look at here, hitting a 7-iron, and thin to win, I think is what they say. Did not hit any balls at the range prior to playing, so just kind of going straight out of the gate. But got lucky here, have this little guy for a good look. About a 15-footer. I'm playing fairly straight here. And I just pushed it. Club face was a touch open on that putt. So just happy to start off with an easy par. Second hole is a par 5, 549 yards, skinny as well. So I'm just kind of aiming at one of those chimneys out there in the distance and just trying to get a nice fluid swing here. Hit a gem, just a very straight ball right down the middle of the fairway. And I had 235 yards for my second shot, but the farther you get down there, the skinnier it gets. So just taking a 4-iron, trying to lay up. It looked like everything kicked down to the right. So I just want to aim a little left, hit a beautiful, actually drew to the left. My shot tracer said it went a little right, but either way, it hit the middle of the fairway. And it kicked hard right. I'll tell you, this thing hung on for dear life. So I have this little pitch shot out of the Bermuda, which is kind of still bothering me. I hit a pretty decent one, but left it a little short. So I have 10 feet or so for birdie, maybe a little bit more, maybe 15 feet. Now, keep an eye on the fan there to the right. You see it? Now watch as I hit. Watch the flagstick. Look at it below. You see that? Let's look at it again. The fan's blowing and my ball turned left. There it is. You see, call me crazy, but I think the fan blew the ball out because I had it breaking right. It's downhill to the right. Anyways, it's a par, but I could swear that fan blew that ball out of the hole. Anyways, moving on, par 3, 143 yards. I'm just hitting a 9-iron. Right here in my wheelhouse is what I like to say, but whoo, pushed that sucker way right. That was not my best. It did not go in the trees, luckily. There's plenty of room over here. It was pin high. I just pitching up to there and carried it a little far. I thought I'd get a little more check on that ball, which I didn't. So I have this downhiller. This Bermuda grass on these greens was very long, but I felt like it wasn't slowing the ball down. The greens were rolling beautifully, and that little downhiller just kept going. It was a tricky one, but rolled it in for par, so feeling good, 3 in a row. And I'm liking the start. This is a 435-yard par 5, and we were having a difficult time figuring out where this hole was.
So if you can go right over those bunkers, you should be good.
A friend of mine had this little 18 birdies app that we were checking out, and I wish I had seen this drone footage that I shot before the round, but I saw it after the round, and you don't want to go too far right, and if I had to do it over, I would not hit driver on this hole, because you miss a little left, little right, you're in trouble. Luckily, the swing was feeling really good. I went right at those 2 bunkers and hit a beautiful tee shot, and it's just on the mounds past the bunker, and there's a tiny green up there. Tiny. And I'm choking down a 6-iron from 185 and anticipating a big hook off this mound. And I got a little draw. So I'm going to miss the green just to the right. But as you can see, that's a tiny little green. So this par 5 is protected by the tiny green. So I have this little chip, and what I'm doing here is I'm using what I call my chip and slide method. Look on my channel for that, or just type it in the search bar, you'll find it, which I'm just sliding the bounce through the grass and really accelerating that. And it worked out pretty well. I anticipated more run out, but this one was into the grain, so those were stopping a lot faster than the others. Either way, 15 feet for birdie. I thought it broke left. It did not. I'm still getting used to the grain here on these Bermuda greens. It's very, very prominent, and that's the tallest flag stick in the world, by the way. All right, 5th hole. I don't typically like to play a draw, but when a hole forces me to, I will. I do draw the ball, but I don't like to play a draw. So I'm taking the 5 wood here, which is the easiest one for me to play a draw. And I'm just working with the contours that the architect designed here. And I hit a perfect tee shot, 5 wood, right in the middle of the fairway. I have 137 for my second shot. I'm taking a pitching wedge, and the ball's slightly above my feet again. And typically, that's fine. It should turn the ball a little to the left, but for whatever reason, that wasn't happening, and they were just hanging out to the right the last couple shots. It was a decent swing. 20-footer for birdie here. And not really one you want to make, but you never know. These are the ones you practice on the practice putting green. So they could go in from time to time, and that was close, but I'll take the easy tap and par. Now Garth, I kind of went out of turn, but Garth was going back and forth on this hole, and he's chipping here for par, so he was having a heck of a time, but he hold that puppy out. Good for him. 6th hole, 376-yard par 4. Hitting a 3 wood or 3 metal here. Just don't want to run out of fairway if I hit it straight. And I like to hit this straight. Don't like to work a draw or fade with this 3 wood. So I'm just really trying to hit a straight ball towards the end of the fairway to keep it out of anything right, because those trees really come into play. And hit it right to the edge of the fairway, as you could tell. And this 128 with my gap wedge, which is a 50-degree wedge, this is green light special for me. Pin's a little on the left. I'm feeling really good and confident here, so it's just... And this is called a kind of fanned it out to the right shot. Not my favorite. It hit the hill and rolled in this bunker. And this is not really sand, folks. This is Georgia clay, is what I like to call it. And I don't play out of clay very often and hit the greatest bunker shot in the world, but maybe a 15-footer for par here, and I'm waiting for that fan to turn to the left before I putt. And man, I hit a good one. I needed that fan behind me, though, because I left that a touch short. So my first bogey of the day, really it was my second shot fault. So anyways, moving on to the 400-yard par 4 7th. I'm hitting a 5 metal here. Just trying for position. That fairway is skinny. I would have showed it to you, but it was shooting directly into the sun, so we like this shot here. So second shot, I had 168, hitting a 7-iron, tiny green once again. And I just kind of tugged this one a little bit and went a little long. It's funny that the shots with the ball below my feet, I seem to pull, and the ones above, I seem to push. So we got to work on that. Chip and slide method here with my 60-degree wedge, and just pushing that bounce through the Bermuda. And man, this was tracking pretty good. Just hung out there on the right. So easy kick in par for the 7th hole. I like those easy ones. 8th hole, par 3, beautiful 168-yard par 3. I'm hitting an 8-iron here, trying to just trust the distance. I've been hitting these clubs out here in Georgia, and I didn't fully trust it. Kind of pushed, drew this. Didn't really catch it 100%, but got lucky. It stayed dry, barely. And I have this little pitch shot. I couldn't put the camera behind me for obvious reasons. So we got this little shot here. Again, chip and slide method is what I'm doing, trying to go through. Got a little stuck. It's thick Bermuda there. And that sucker almost went in.
Thought I made it.
It was close. So just kicked it in for par again, and we're moving on.
He's got one over there.
Ninth hole is a 391-yard par 4. Tiny dog leg, just turned to the left. I'm hitting the 3 metal again, and just kind of hitting it straight down the right side, try to give me a good angle into this flag. That was probably one of my best swings of the day, looking at it. So I have my 9-iron here from 145, and uphill shot, and trying to time myself in between the construction hammers. I didn't do a very good job, as you could hear. But hit a decent 9. I probably caught it maybe a groove thin. But all in all, pretty good. Stayed underneath the hole, and there's a ridge in front of me, and it's into the green, so I really gave this a good wrap. And it was tracking, but short. And on those ones, I don't really try to go too hard because I don't want to run it by 10 feet. I want to get as close as possible without going by. So not really what I'm trying to make. Hole 10 here is 527-yard par 5. Hitting driver uphill, pretty straight. It just goes uphill, so difficult tee shot, these uphillers for me. But I managed to get this guy really good. Again, one of my better swings of the day. My swing was really feeling good today, and then therefore I was willing to go for it from 260 with my 3-wood. Not much danger up there either, so I wasn't too worried if I missed it a little short or a little right, but I pured this one, and it went nearly pin high, and I'm just pitching back sideways to this hole. So again, same method. And it didn't release. The pitches aren't releasing sometimes. So I have about a 15-footer for birdie, and I'm playing a touch right to left on this, looking at the grain. And that thing rolled so pure and smooth. These greens are in fantastic shape, by the way, if you're looking for a good course to play. I want to check this place out. The 12th or the 11th hole is another par 5. So back-to-back par 5s. This is 535 yards. And I'm kind of aiming at a tree way out in the distance through the fairway and trying just to not think about the right side. And I put a really good swing on that. So my second shot is from 270. As you can tell, there's all kinds of danger. So I'm just laying up with a 4-iron because I can make birdie here a lot easier from the fairway. Didn't want to go for it with the 3-wood because there's bunkers 30, 40 yards short of the green. You don't want to be in those ever. So I left it 108 yards, hitting a sand wedge. And again, green light special here. Looking good at this. Only problem is the ball's on a tier, or the flag's up on the top tier. So I'm trying to get it up that top tier. So you got to kind of fly it all the way. And I just hit the tier, kind of rolled back down a little bit. This 25-footer or so for birdie, and I wouldn't make that for par. All right, so 12th hole, 198-yard par 3. What I'm trying to do here is eliminate the left side. Everything over there is just death, so I don't want to go in that bunker, nothing. I'm aiming out right. I'm taking a club that I know I can keep it to the right, 5-iron here, and I start it right. And if it doesn't turn back, I'm totally fine with that. Again, I'm not looking to make birdie here unless something crazy happens, like you drain a long putt. Don't worry, that's not going to happen. But I did miss right, and I have this guy. And it had a good look, I'll be honest with you. Little burn the edge. So that was a kick-in par. 13th hole is probably one of the tougher holes on the course, 410-yard par 4. It felt uncomfortable to me. I picked this drive. I picked my club up a lot on the backswing, more than I like to. And I basically duck hooked it into these left trees. I have no shot to the green, so I'm taking a 6-iron and just punching out. Trying to hit just a choke down little punch hook just to get it back into play. And I hit a perfect shot. So that's when you're in trouble, you got to get out of trouble. Have about 60 or so yards here, 55 yards. Taking the 60-degree wedge, opening the face, and playing kind of a low spinning check shot was my plan. And I hit it perfect. I'll be honest, it just carried probably to the pin, spun hard right, and that was down grain, so it rolled out. And I'm really trying everything I can to will this into the hole. Oh, and I just hit the bottom lip. That's painful. I wanted that par. But not a bad bogey given all the circumstances, so I'll take that. 14th hole here is a 120-yard par 3. I'm hitting a gap wedge. I love courses that have really short par 3s, ones that you could just say, oh, I'm going to fire away at this, and, good chance to make something happen. I totally fatted this ball, however.
I'm back.
I guess I was counting my chickens before they hatch, let's say. So I got this little chip up. Kind of got a little chunky on that. That Bermuda really grabs my club sometimes when it's sitting down. So 15 or so feet for par, aiming just at that right edge. That was my plan. And that sucker rolled nicely. That was one of my favorite putts of the day to save par there. So now we have a 360-yard par 4. Green's down to the left and plenty of room to the right. So I'm just taking driver. I'm swinging as hard as I can here. Hit a nice big draw, and the fairway slopes down to the left, so it rolls out toward the green. And I have this little guy, 50 yards or so, a little pitch shot, open the face, hit just left of the front of the green, and I almost hold that thing, which is good. About a foot away. Those are good all day. So nice little birdie on 15. 16th hole here, 380-yard par 4. I'm taking a 4-iron, believe it or not. One of my friends before me just hit a driver straight through the fairway into the tree. So I said, well, let's lay back and play safe. So I just went over that tree, the bunker, and it turned out to be the right call because I'm middle of the fairway, 158 yards, 8-iron. And again, I'm looking, green light special here. I'm feeling like that ball's going to turn a little to the left. Thinned it again, just a touch, and it just hung out on the right side. So, not my best swing. And I have this little guy. I wish it was in the first cut, but it's in the second cut of Bermuda. But got through it pretty good. But this one released, and I wasn't really expecting that. But still, 7-8 feet for par. This breaks quite a bit from left to right. Hit a good putt, but it just leaked off. So another bogey. So not when I don't like making bogeys on the 16th hole because it can kind of ruin your round, the finishing holes. And so I really try my best on 16, 17, 150 par 3. I'm hitting an 8-iron here. There's some wind into our face, so I took an extra club and hit it good. I pushed it a touch. But the wind was pushing it over there even more, and it came up short right. Looking back, I probably should have hit the 7, but it's just almost pin high, not quite. I'm just trying to do my chip and slide here. And that went in. So that was one of my best shots of the day, obviously. A little pitch chip in. That felt good. So, going to the last hole here, par 5, 517-yard hole. And looking back, I should not have hit driver. But I did hit it in the perfect spot. So, it looked like it went into those trees to me, but it just held up. There's some rough here. I've got 230 left. I'm hitting the 5-wood, trying to play a cut shot off a tree in the distance, back to the flag. Hit it a little heavy, which is fine. That's not a big deal. With a 5-wood, it gets through the Bermuda pretty nicely. So I have 50 yards here. 60-degree wedge. There's a little false front on this green, which I didn't know. and I hit this really good, and I hit probably the top edge of that false front. It kind of rolled back, so had this for birdie. Uphill into the grain, a little right to left.
Oh, turn left.
Well, I thought it was right to left, but it actually went. It looked like it broke uphill for some strange reason. Well, that's an even par 72 on the day out here at Traditions of Braselton. Hope you liked the video. Had a great time playing here. And if you like his content, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and check this place out if you're ever in town. Love you guys. And we'll see you next video.